boom, headshot, boom, headshot. It never happens. What is going on, guys? John here with the PB Fit, and today I'm giving you a review and some maintenance on the Dye M2. Now, the Dye M2 is Dye's, obviously, premier marker. This thing is absolutely awesome. It's been out for a few years, and the newest version of this is the MOS Air. Now, this is not the MOS Air M2, but it is pretty much exactly the same besides that particular feature. And what MOS Air does is it allows you to use precision to tune your marker. Now, there's a lot of cool features on this particular marker that I absolutely love that previous DMs did not have. So, as you guys know, the ultralight, it hasn't changed in forever because it's absolutely awesome. There's no need for them to change it. Same with the bolt system. This Billy Wing bolt is absolutely amazing, and there's nothing that they need to do to update it. So it's still the Matrix base gun that you guys know and love. Same maintenance and everything like that, which I'll go over. And it has a soft tip bolt. So as you guys saw, it's really easy to put in and out. All you gotta do is press a button, slide it out, and then slide it back in, and you hear it snap. It's awesome. This feed neck is absolutely amazing. I love that it has little flywheel on here, whatever you want to call it, or thumb wheel, and it's really, really easy to tighten your hopper. I've never had a hopper fall off of my M2. The cool thing about this marker is that it's a really long gun. You never have like that feeling that you don't have control over it, so that's what I really enjoy. Not to mention this trigger. So I hate Dye triggers. I hate the reach trigger, but I absolutely love this M2 trigger. It's super snappy, super smooth, and I feel like Dye fixed the #1 complaint that I had with their markers, so good job, Dye, on that. Now, it's really, really nice rubber grips that allows you to grip your marker really well. It's kind of an industry standard now to have front and, palm grips, which is really, really nice. And a really great thing about this marker, though, is the board. Now, it has like a joystick-style button here. You go ahead and turn it on. And it's an absolutely gigantic screen. There's no way you're not gonna be able to see the information on it. So that's why I really enjoy it. This is literally the best board in the game right now. Like, you cannot find a better board besides this M2 board. Another thing that they updated, which was another big annoyance, was this airport ASA. I had a really hard time making sure I locked down my ASA on the older DMs, but this larger kind of like little thumb action here allows you to really, really lock down the ASA really well, and I never see it coming loose or anything like that, like I used to see on the older DMs. Another great thing about the M2 is the ability to recharge your marker. Now, a lot of markers still use 9 volts, but a few, I'd say top of the line markers, they utilize rechargeable batteries, which I really, really love. So right here, you have a USB port in which you just go pop open, slide it, and you go ahead and plug it in, and it charges relatively quickly. And from what I've experienced, it has a really, really good battery life, so you don't have to recharge it too often. All right, so now that we went over some of the key features of the marker, let's go ahead, bring the camera down, and do some maintenance. All right, guys, so here's the absolutely beautiful Dye M2 that Jake from Team Insanity so graciously let me use for months and months and months, so I've had a lot of experience with this marker. So when you're doing maintenance on this marker, the first thing you want to do is go ahead and remove the barrel. As you can tell, it's an absolutely beautiful barrel, very nice anodizing, very well done, and all you want to do is basically just run a swab through it. I mean, that's really all I do. Sometimes I'll put water through it, but ultimately that's all you gotta do is just run a swab through it. So we can set this off to the side. So next thing we're gonna go over is the core of the M2. So this is a Billy Wing bolt. If you guys are familiar with Billy Wing bolts, they've been out for a while. They were upgrades for a long time, but now they come with every single M2, which is absolutely amazing. So to take out the bolt, there's a button right here. You're gonna press it in. Extremely easy. There's no twists or anything. You just pull straight out. All right, the bolt's out. You can set the marker off to the side. So here is the Billy Wing bolt itself. As you can tell, it is awesome. It says Billy Wing. It says Billy Wing Ironman right there, which is absolutely cool. And this drivetrain is extremely easy to maintain. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna start by taking off this front can. All right, and that comes off. Then you have this back part here you can go ahead and unscrew. All right, what I like to do is I like to take off this front O-ring and then slide that portion off. So essentially you've got 4 main parts here to the drivetrain that you need to clean. And as always, I like to use either a cloth or a microfiber to wipe down all the old lube, and I will replace all the old lube. Now, if you feel like there's too much lube in the grooves here and everything like that, go ahead and just remove all the O-rings and clean the grooves and then replace them. Now, the cool thing about Dye is they color code all their O-rings, so you know what O-rings go where. There's no guessing and there's no measuring, even if you do have a cool O-ring Monkey Tech Mat. So first things first, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and wipe down everything, make sure all the old lube is off. All right, and I like to say relatively organized as I can be, and then we're gonna wipe off this front O-ring here because there's a lot of stuff on it. So now that we got everything cleaned off, I'm gonna go ahead and use grease because, you know, it's Dow 33. It's pretty much awesome. I use it on everything. And if you've ever shot like an ion, this bolt is extremely similar to an ion, in my opinion, to be honest. I mean, a lot like an ion as far as maintenance goes. I mean, it's not very complicated. If you watch my MacDev GTI video, that one is a little complicated. Hit both these at the same time, and there's a orange O-ring in here that you're gonna wanna get. Of course, a black O-ring on the outside. You're gonna wanna hit up. Another orange O-ring in here, and 2 black O-rings on the outside. Boom. So, as you guys can tell, it does not take long to lube up your marker and get it cleaned. So when it comes to this part, I just go ahead and screw this back on. I mean, honestly, I probably didn't even need to take it off. Could have just left it. And then I go ahead and slide this back in here like so. I put this can on, pull this out, and I go ahead and put my O-ring back on. And I will lube this one up with just a little bit of lube, nothing, just very little lube because I don't want to put too much on. Now that we're done with the engine, we can go ahead and kind of look at the other internals of the marker and how we clean those. Now the awesome thing about dye, and I forgot to mention this earlier, is that they made an eye pipe that is a little bit thicker so it doesn't crack like the old ones. So that's extremely important because they used to crack all the friggin' time. You tighten your barrel a little bit too much, guess what? Crack. And that happens all the time because, you know, everyone's like cranking down their barrel like right before break. I know, like, I like to crank down my barrel right before, you know, they call 10 seconds. I'll like crank down my barrel for some reason thinking it's gonna come loose when it's actually not. It's just like a nervous twitch, I guess I have. So you just gotta it's easy to wipe down, and then from there, you cleaned your eye pipe, right? All the gunk should be out on here. If you really need to, you could just run a swab through the back of your marker, and boom, you just clean the internal, you know, the whole inside of your marker, which is awesome. And you just go ahead and put the eye pipe back in. And it goes ahead and slides in nice and easy. All right, and just take a look at it. All right, make sure it's all lined up. All right, awesome. So the eye pipe's back in, the inside's clean. We can go ahead and take our bolt system and slide it back in. And there you go, you've just maintained the entire engine and internal core of your marker. All right guys, so now I'm gonna go over maintaining the high pressure regulator, because unlike a lot of spool valves, this has a high and low pressure regulator, but I'm specifically gonna be going over the high pressure regulator because I truly feel like that's the one you need to maintain the most. I would just leave your freaking LPR alone, okay? Just go with the HPR. All right, so main thing is you don't have to take the grips off or nothing like that. You're just gonna go ahead and take an Allen key, unscrew this first portion, which is like the cartridge, I guess. All right, so once you remove this regulator cartridge, you're gonna see a piston in here, and there's gonna be some shims on there. Kind of like the, if you think about the CP reg, very similar. So you're gonna have to use a needle nose plier. You don't want to pull too hard on this though, because if you damage this piston, you're gonna have a bad day. So what I would do, and what a lot of people do, and this is what I do with my CP reg, so you don't screw it up as far as the way that this is aligned. You're gonna go ahead and just turn it upside down on top of an Allen key, like so. That way they all stay in order. You're gonna wipe down this piston, and then the cartridge here. Once you've got that all wiped down of, you know, any sort of dirt or anything like that, you're gonna go ahead and lube up these 2 O-rings here, and of course, the O-rings on the cartridge. Now that everything's good to go, you're gonna go ahead and take your Allen key with all your shims on it, put it back on your piston, and boom, there you go. No issues whatsoever with that. And you're gonna put it back up in your M2. So piston first with the shims. All right, make sure that's nice and flush. Push it all the way down with your finger. This portion goes in as well, and then you're gonna go ahead and use your Allen key to tighten it down. And of course, once you're doing that, it'd probably be a pretty good idea to go ahead and chrono your marker again, because it's probably gonna shoot terribly. All right guys, so that's all I had for the maintenance of this marker. Pretty easy, nothing really too much to worry about. I think a lot of markers are kind of just going this way. You're not gonna really see complexity when it comes to these new high ends. All right, so ultimately, what do I think of the Dye M2? I think the Dye M2 is an awesome marker. Now, a lot of people give dye crap because they say that they're just recycling markers, but if you look at the industry, everybody's recycling their technology. If you have good technology, just put it in a prettier package. It's essentially what most marker companies are doing. I would like to see dye come out with some new markers, but this is their flagship marker. They've had it for years. It is a proven system. There's no reason for them to change it. So what they do is they fix the outside and fixes things that people complained about. The trigger, the board, they didn't have an OLED board forever. You know, the feed neck on the 15s, I was not a fan of the DM15 feed neck. It was just weird. They made these grips smaller from the 14s. I think that's absolutely awesome. They put a billy wing bolt in every single marker, which is great. So now all their markers are performing at top performance. And their ASA, they fixed their ASA, the complaints about the ASA. So as you can tell, dye listens to the consumer, which is extremely important when you're running a business. It blows my mind when some companies don't listen to what people have to say. How do you expect to sell products if you don't listen? That's my review on the Dye M2. I think it's a great marker. If you're considering upgrading even from a DM14, I would totally do it. I think it's completely worth the money. The only issue with dye is when you buy brand new, they tend to not hold their value very well. I don't know why that is. I think it's just the way the market is, and that's unfortunate. Because I think that these are really worth a pretty penny and they're worth their price tag. So if you're looking at getting an M2, definitely do so. If you want a little bit more ability to, precisionally tune your marker, you can go ahead and do that with the MOS Air. But you can always do that on your own with the LPR and the HPR on your own. So I hope this is a good review for you guys. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Don't forget, like, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. Take it easy.